The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Hello, Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Hump Day.
And welcome back. We had the day off on Monday.
That's right. We had the day off, so we had a long weekend. I hope you all enjoyed your Labor Day weekend, because we did.
But remember, we're number one.
We're number one. Fall River again. We're the
Fall River man is first arrest at the new Tiverton Casino. Yay!
And in great Fall River form. I mean, he was totally
inebriated.
Inebriated, and not only that, he was looking for the flea market. I guess he couldn't. He was yelling, "Where's the flea market?" It was like, "Where's the stairs?" I don't know. God, I tell you. But hey, look, that's Fall River, so it's a great segue. I told you the story quickly when I came here. And this is what we're up against. We talk about these. The people in the Chamber of Horrors and the City Council and the Mayor, they all want to make this into Monaco and Newton and stuff. And look, we just got a different subculture here. And you have to understand that we have to get people jobs and get them some, and get a different, and bring back some of those people who moved out of the city back in to give this city, because the stigma, going all the way back into the 50s when they made that movie with John Wayne and
Donovan's Reef.
Donovan's Reef, when Gilhooly of the Fall River Gilhoolys, all he ever did was drink and fight. And, we made the movies. We also made it in a few other movies. We made it.
And we're now making it again in another movie about a couple of fighters and drinkers.
That's right. And it seems, but today I have to tell you, I stopped at the post office on our way up here to the studio today to mail a letter and grab some stamps and stuff. And I drove into the parking lot, and I was greeted by screaming and yelling, and I got out of the car, and of course...
And they weren't your fans.
Of course, yeah, they weren't any of our fans. It were two women screaming at some older woman, and using every other word was an F-bomb, and this is not your effing parking lot, you don't own this F. Well, apparently, the two of them decided to park their vehicles, and have a space between them, and then stand in this space and talk for an hour. And I guess the poor old lady decided she wanted the parking place because the parking lot was pretty full. It was almost full. So they were screaming at her, berating her, and swearing at her, and everything else. And it was like, and I'm saying, wow, I'm thinking of some tourist, like we want a tourism director, and we're going to get somebody to come to Fall River, and they're going to stop to mail a letter, and this is what they're greeted with. This is what they're greeted with. You got people drunk looking for the flea markets.
In the casino.
You got people at a post office parking lot yelling at an old lady because she wanted to actually park her car in the parking lot, and she was disturbing their conversation. And, so obviously their insensitivity to other people, and they don't care, is pervasive with them, because they left before I did, and then when I came out of the post office, I drove through the Newport Creamery entrance, and I came in, and they were blocking the street there too. The two vehicles parked side by side. You had to actually drive into the parking lot to get around them. And they were continuing their conversation there. I guess they figured they better make a hasty retreat from the post office in case the woman called the police. But this is what you got. And then when I came here to the studio, it's first day of class, I guess, huh? It's loaded, unless it was yesterday, but we're not here. But I mean, it was mobbed and parking place, but there was some 17 or 18-year-old girl that pulled right into the handicap spot because she thought that was a reserved spot for her to pick up her friend, I guess. And we see that all the time. But then, and then we worry. You know, we worry about, you know, and we listen to politicians saying that Fall River's getting a bad rap. Fall River's going to place that tourists are going to come. Well, I'll tell you, if you do manage to get a few tourists into this city, 5 minutes in the streets of Fall River, and they're out of here with a jetpack attached to them. Because the stuff that goes on in this city, even for people who have been in a lot of places, is still kind of amazing. I mean, and look at it. We reaffirmed that again by having stunningly the first arrest. They arrested somebody else later on that day for a bench warrant, but I don't know how.
From Fall River again.
Yeah, but I don't know how they knew he had a bench warrant unless he was known to some police officer in there or something. Or
Well, they got the state police and the local Tiverton police in there.
So I don't know. They might. I mean, well, I'm saying that, but then again, he was. No, actually, it said he was from Newport, but.
No, the warrant's out of Newport, 2nd District Court in Newport.
Okay. The warrant was out of it.
Right.
It said 20, but it says Kyle Schwartz, 28 of 90 Girard Avenue, apartment 200.
Oh, yeah, he had the
Newport.
bench warrant. That's right, yeah.
Yeah, he's a bench warrant. But, I mean, obviously, most of the time, and there were pickets about it, I know Twin Rivers in Smithfield hires, the only people they hire for security are retired or police or active police officers. So they're all Rhode Island police officers for the most part. So maybe somebody from Newport, Rhode Island that came down from Newport Grand, one of the security people, probably knew the guy. He was probably a frequent flyer, so they got him on a bench warrant, but he wasn't actually, from what I'm reading, he didn't cause any circus in the casino, but Fall River guy did, looking for the flea market.
Where's the flea market?
Where's the flea market? What are you selling those slot machines? I don't know. But hey, welcome to Bizarro World.
Exactly.
So we had to get that one in, but Fall River again leads the pack in insanity.
Can you believe 5,400 people yesterday voted? 5,400 people.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I expected that, and I'll be perfectly frank. I didn't vote. It's a primary. I never miss a final election, but I am an unenrolled, or quote unquote in old days, an independent. I will only vote in a primary if there's a candidate who I support who is running opposed. But the reality is,
nobody was opposed.
there's nobody running. There was nobody, even in the contested election. Carol Fiola was running unopposed, and Dave Steinoff was running unopposed. So it was totally pointless to go there. It's like, you know, they're going to vote for themselves, and, you know, but the problem is, you know, in a primary like this that's so basically, you know, a waste of money, because they're all, you know, everybody's running unopposed. I can see some people, and I'm not justifying my actions, maybe because they, you should vote in every election, but I'm not going to declare. I am not a Republican, and I am not a Democrat. I have said time and time again that I believe that they're exactly the same. The only difference is that Republicans steal from the working man and give to the rich, and Democrats steal from the working man and give a tiny little bit back. That's all. That's the only difference as far as I'm concerned. But you know, the difference is I will go to the final election. I will vote. But that's the problem. We had 5,400, but in the final election, we're not going to do much better.
Probably not.
We're not going to do much better.
Probably not.
Because a lot of these people just don't vote, period. And, you know, speaking about voting, we'll segue into this. Did you watch the Rhode Island gubernatorial debate last night?
Wasn't that a joke?
Yeah, but you know what was really refreshing? That Giovanni, the Giovanni guy, I can't remember his last name, it starts with an F, I think, but I don't want to mispronounce it, and somebody will think I'm using an expletive or something. But it was very refreshing to hear him. I guess he's a billionaire. He went bankrupt once or twice, and he said that's the way you have to learn. You have to learn how to survive, and he's of course he said the right things, but he really started. He said he was going to repeal the sales tax, and of course his opponent, who's a long-term politician, was horrified. Oh, maybe we can reduce it. We can't get rid of it. Blah blah. But he said, well, you know, it's time to allow people to want to come to the state. He said, you know, New Hampshire doesn't have it. He named the states that don't have it. And he said, we want people to come to the state. We want businesses to come to the state. We want to put more money in people's pockets so they can stimulate our economy. Wow. What have we been saying for the last...
I know, exactly.
I mean, but it was nice to hear somebody actually say that. But then it was really good when you watched it. I'm going to watch the debate tonight because it's the Democratic side. But Raimondo's not going to be there. But I just
and Fung wasn't at last night's either.
Fung wasn't. Yeah, Fung went to the radio debate and said he did well enough where he doesn't have to debate. What he was saying in code was, I'm the selected candidate for my party, and I really don't have to do this.
Exactly.
And I don't want to. Get on TV and maybe screw up. But it was really refreshing to see somebody. Not that I believe for 1 second he would actually do what he said, because you know I've been dealing with politicians long enough to know they all sound great when they're running. Once they get in, well, then it's another story. But I'll tell you, it was nice to hear him. He came up with some real ideas, and it was all based on keeping more money. He said the taxpayers of Rhode Island are getting murdered. The only thing politicians know how to do is go into the wallets of the working people. And it was nice, because how many times have we said that? But it was good. So if you got it's only a half-an-hour debate, I think. So tonight the Democrats are on at 7:30 on Channel 10. So if you're interested in that stuff, like we are, take a quick gander. You know,
we're political junkies. That's our problem.
Yeah.
They don't have a medication that gets you over that.
That's right. That's right.
So Joe Kennedy stopped here yesterday.
Oh yeah, because it's an election.
Because it's an election year.
Next time we see him will be next election.
That's right. And you know, and all they focused on was the fact that there was 5,400 voters.
Well, I mean, let's face it. You know, Joe Kennedy stops in Fall River. We got what, 93% or 97%?
Yeah, he's running uncontested.
So, I know, but some insane, you know, of course, there's nobody else on a ballot. I mean, so if he lost 3%, somebody wrote in Donald Duck or something. I don't know. But I mean, look, he's a Kennedy. In Massachusetts, the Kennedys, if you got the Kennedy name and you're a direct descendant of the Kennedys, I mean, you could virtually, you know.
You could murder somebody. Oh wait, a Kennedy did do that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, somebody did do that. But well, technically, it wasn't murder. But,
well, actually, technically, it wasn't murder.
But it was. But you know, he did leave it till the next day, and then reported the next day after the alcohol got out of his system. But I mean, let's face it. If you're a Kennedy, you could shoot a few people on the way into the polls, and they'd still elect you by 90%. I mean, it's a virtual impossibility not to be elected in the state of Massachusetts if you're a Kennedy. You know, and, you know, we've proven that time and time and time again. And, like, after that, to show that, we know that. But what does Massachusetts do? We did have a big upset. We got this one?
Yep, the primary stunner.
Gigantic upset.
Rep. Capuano's gone.
Yep. 10 terms. A 10-term incumbent gone. And who do they elect? Talk about not having your finger on the pulse of the world. Massachusetts, not only Fall River. Fall River's an alternate universe within an alternate universe.
Exactly.
Massachusetts, who do they elect?
An Afro-American woman.
They don't elect a moderate or somebody like that. They elect somebody that's so far left, she's right. I mean, this woman is, by their own admission, and every media outlet, when I was watching the results, said, not left, far left.
Right.
And when the media calls you far left,
you're really left.
It means you're basically, you make a socialist look conservative. So this is what we're going to send to Congress. So, you know, they'll fit in right in, you know, she'll fit right in. It's incredible. But this is what we do. You know, we just can't get, you know, for some reason, you know, the voters are going to stop listening to marketing schemes and getting swept up in these we're going to send a message. You're not sending a message. If she gets to Congress, she's going to be one vote. Guess what? I mean,
out of 435.
Yeah. What is she going to do except, you know, make a lot of noise about giving away everything because she's so far left. She wants everything for free. She's like that guy in Rhode Island that's running, that wants to have, and you know, it's nice on paper, but then again, who's going to pay? He wants to have.
Yeah, but how about what happened in the Massachusetts House and Senate?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Well,
Rob DeLeo took it right in the face.
We were going to say. Well, I was going to say because that's a big one. That's a big one.
The Ways and Means Chairman Jeffrey Sanchez and Assistant Majority Leader Byron Rushings, both of Boston, both lost their re-election campaigns. Gone.
Yeah, you think maybe, you know what? But this always gives me hope. When I see stuff like this, it gives me hope because these people were very high up and powerful, and the people of Boston, frankly, were tired. They were tired. They saw the scandal that was around DeLeo and all the stuff with the speakers and all the things with the Senate presidents. And you know, frankly, they were tired. And they did what we always say. They cleaned the swamp a little bit. You know, they drained it. Will it help? Because no, because the rest of the state's sending back their swamp creatures back to the State House. But it's encouraging to see, you know, and but you know, of course, they had their own things. I don't necessarily agree with, you know, how they got elected, but they did get elected. And you know something? They bumped this guy out, and he was a fairly powerful and high-up figure.
Yeah, he had the House Ways and Means Committee.
That's the biggest committee. Look,
that's it.
In case for all you people that are not political junkies and don't know, Ways and Means is the most important committee that they have.
It's money.
Money. He's the guy that controls how they get the money to do anything. So without the Ways and Means Committee giving a favorable recommendation, you could have the greatest idea and greatest plan in the world. It's not going anywhere because it's not going to get financed. Ways and Means is a huge. So you know how tight you have to be with the Speaker to become the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. I mean, you got to be a blood brother. So, you know, they bumped him out, and hopefully this guy, if he doesn't do the right thing, they'll bump him out, because this is what we got to do. We got to start making this stuff clear that politics should not be a career path. You should not be able to go up to Boston and stay there as a legislator for 30 years and rape the system. You know, this is something you go up. It's kind of like going into the military. You serve your country. And as our forefathers did, they served their nation, they picked up their rifles, they became soldiers, citizen soldiers, they won a revolution, and then some of those people went into politics, but none of them made it a lifetime occupation.
No, and politics shouldn't be a career.
And it should not be a career. It should not be a career, because what happens when it becomes a career is exactly what's happened to this country over the last 100 years. They become a monarchy. They create their own laws. Their only concern is not the people that they're supposed to represent. It's about getting reelected and getting as much money, accruing as much money and power as they can to stay in office. And you know, that's the reality. And it's good to be in an election season, because even though it seems our mayor's keeping a very, very low profile, we can't have a lot of. We're not having a lot of controversy going on, except I see that
ZBA.
ZBA. But we also, I saw one of our things about despite dusty delays, streetscapes works around government center moves along. So, you know, I've got an idea though. Since it's still in the construction phase.
Make a crypt there.
I was thinking, since the mayor was so worried about taking this one block street. It's fundamentally one block till it becomes residential. Purchase where he lives. And it's right, of course, a block away from the government center. And he lives there. Why don't we install a moving walkway so the mayor doesn't have to use his car? He can just walk out his front door, get on a moving walkway, and go right to the government center, like they do in Las Vegas casinos to get you in. When you go in, you get a moving walkway to bring you in there so you can lose your money. After you lose your money and you're on your way out, you're on your own. There's no moving walkway coming back, but there's a moving walkway to go in. But, you know, let's have a moving walkway both ways so he can, you know, leave the comfort of his home and get on his moving walkway on his brand new streetscaped street and go over to his government center. And seems like a good idea. How many millions of dollars is he spending to take care of a street that goes nowhere? You know, oh, we're going to have tourist attractions. We're going to put 2 picnic tables outside a store, and we can have outdoor dining. It's just going to be like the Champs-Élysées in Paris, you know? Sure. Okay. Alternate universe, here we come.
I agree. But the ZBA set a date for the for Stanley Street.
Yep.
And people are already upset. I mean, the North End Neighborhood Association is totally against this. Nancy Paul was denied a permit by Glenn Hathaway, who's the city building inspector. And he says that because the building is almost 3/4 institutional and not permitted in a commercial mill district. According to Beauregard's filing, the denial for a building permit should be reversed on the grounds that the Weaver Street facility qualifies as an educational use. But here's the problem. There's a marijuana facility right across the street from this site. And under state law, no educational facilities can be located across the street or within so many feet of a marijuana facility. So if they want to use the educational facility component of this, they still get struck down.
Well, thank you, lawyers, for making the most obscure and convoluted interpretation. I am sure that drug rehab education was not the education that education was put into the law for. Because, let's face it, if we decide to run some kind of educational facility like a driving school, do we get a special permit? Can we put it in the middle of a residential, we want to build a 18-story driving school? Well, it's an educational institution, or maybe we can open up a jiu-jitsu school or a karate school or a boxing gym because we're teaching people how to do jiu-jitsu or boxing or karate. So it's an you know, anything's an educational facility. Walking out on the Fall River Street is an education. So, I mean, you know, again, you get lawyers and they're going to try to muddy the water, and this is an educational facility. But as you said, well, what better place
That across the street from a marijuana
across
facility.
the street from where they're selling drugs.
That's right.
It's like beautiful. I mean, look, it's just amazing. It's just, I mean, like I said, welcome to Bizarro World. This is Bizarro World.
If you go to Stanley Street as it is, okay, outside on Stanley Street, across the street from the facility, a lot of drug deals are done there. You drive by and you see it all the time, or drug usage.
Yeah.
So there's obviously some problems going on there. And that's where the big problem exists. Because this facility draws, and I hate to put it this way, not only people who need help medically, but it draws some derelicts. It draws some, you know, criminal element.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that every drug addict is a criminal element, but, you know, a good majority of them are.
Yeah.
Because when you hear the arrest, you hear they were arrested and they are claiming that they're a drug addict. They have a drug problem.
Yeah, well, see, now that's become a defense.
Exactly. That's
you know,
the new defense.
and because we made it a disease, now we make it a defense. It's like that guy that mowed down the guy on a motorcycle. High, mowed a guy, killed a guy that was doing no harm, riding a motorcycle, mowed him down in Bridgewater, and he had a baby in a car seat in the back.
And he was stoned out of his mind.
Stoned out of his mind.
Yep.
What are they going to do to him? They're going to let him off because he's got a disease. No, it's not a disease. It was his choice. It was his choice to be a drug addict. And he's got a child in the car, which was bad enough, obviously, because if he would have crashed that vehicle into a pole and killed the baby, well, now he killed some poor boy on a motorcycle, mowed him down like wheat, and So that person's family, I'll tell you what, if I was related to that guy, I'd get one of the best lawyers again. I'd sue the entire damn state for this kind of crap.
Well, you know what gets me is...
if he goes there, and when they start using stuff like this for a defense for murder, because as far as I'm concerned, that is not manslaughter. That's premeditated murder. He got in that vehicle stoned. Stoned. That was a choice that he made. As far as I'm concerned, they're lucky I'm not a judge, because there'd be I'd reinstitute the Black Hole of Calcutta as a jail.
Well, you know,
I'll tell you what, I would be looking for a first-degree murder charge.
See, the thing that gets me though is if you're drunk and you're driving, it's a choice.
Yeah.
It's a choice to drive drunk, but it's not a choice to drive stoned, right?
Well,
no.
I guess not. Now it's a defense.
The same rule applies to both sides. I'm sorry, like it or not.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's a more plausible defense to get out and say I'm an idiot. I mean, all right, the guy admitted it. He's an idiot. So okay, we're going to have to let him off. You know, he ran down 3 people, but he's an idiot. So, but better than, you know, I voluntarily took drugs and got in my vehicle knowing I was high and drove around.
Of course, of course.
I mean, you know, this society is totally convoluted now. It's just... You know.
But, you know, I'm waiting to see what the ZBA board does, because everything gets sent over to them.
Yeah.
And personally, I would like to see them turn around and say no, and then have this challenged in court. And the reason why I say that is a lot of times the ZBA decisions are overturned in court. But that's not why I want to see it go to court. I want to see it go to court because I want to see them justify opening an educational facility across the street from a marijuana facility in court, because that's the law.
And for all our viewers in the North End, if they get that zoning, if they win that zoning appeal, or if they go to court, you should also file a complaint about that, because, you know, they're not supposed to have it near a, you know, I mean, it's just ludicrous.
And just remember, people in the North End, you know, every decision ever rendered by a zoning board has been overturned in court.
That's right. Well, guess what? I think that they should open up as a, you know, they should get some of the property, take it by eminent domain, and put a methadone clinic near the pot place. That way it'll be a,
No, like, that's what they want to do across the street.
Yeah,
they want to make a methadone clinic.
One-stop shopping.
Yeah.
Get your methadone, get some pot, go get some heroin.
Might as well put your Suboxone and your Vivitrol there too. Why not, right?
Yeah, what the hell? Might as well. It'll be like going to a Super Stop and Shop or something. I don't know. Hey, look.
The market basket of drug dealing,
That's
right?
There you go. Yeah. Welcome to Needle Basket.
Needle Basket. where every needle is dirty.
Unbelievable.
Well, as we're closing out the show here, hold on to your donations to St. Anne's Church repairs for now.
Yeah.
The diocese hasn't decided what they're going to do with it. It's $13.5 million. There's one woman, Geraldine Perry, who lives in Tiverton, and she's hoping to initiate a fundraising campaign to save the historic shrine. The diocese has already received 2 donations, and they refuse to name the donors because they're not running a formal fundraising campaign for this. And the Parish Planning Committee, which was established in April, is working to determine whether repairing St. Anne's is feasible at the price tag of $13.5 million before it announces any campaign to raise funds. So this building may get destroyed.
And it's terrible because it's an absolutely gorgeous building.
It's blue marble. A lot of people don't even know what blue marble is.
But it's an absolutely spectacular, you know, old-style church. But I guess, you know, the church is guilty of not doing maintenance to their facilities.
They must have got their hints from the city of Fall River.
Well, yeah, they put either that or they ran out of money from paying off claims.
That's true too.
for the pedophilia wave that's sweeping it. And but it's too bad because you see beautiful buildings. Just look at the old Durfee High School. They said it was unrepairable. Go in there now. Gorgeous.
It's a beautiful courthouse.
You know, if you want to spend money, spend it on a building like that. And let's repeal the CPA. Coming soon. Coming soon. Stay angry, everybody.
And we'll see you on Friday. Hey, have a great day. And remember, you didn't vote. It's your fault. Bye.
Guilty. But I will vote in the final election.